conversation. Basically, we are discussing on. Hello, myself Sunil Ramakrishna. Here, basically, we are discussing one other topic that is city creation. City creation. Basically, we are discussing another topic that is India account, SB account, and after 2 days, basically, the earthquake is going to be. So, one of the person basically asked the question. Here, Microsoft basically is getting power supply from that land. SAP is getting power supply from that land. That land basically is created by a set of group basically that is that company. So Microsoft is trying to reach to that land. Then basically might be reaching to that land who created the land, that group also, because Microsoft is like that kind of person basically. So one of the person told that why basically he want to reach up to that level. That is also question basically. There might be some reason basically that he want to reach up to that level basically, or he basically might do. One person basically asked the question. This comes to like this basically. One person basically is a software developer. So he will try to become senior software developer. He will not to become a junior developer, right? So again, basically team leader. Then basically he will try to become a project manager, then delivery head, then the vice president, then the CEO. This everything basically comes into the picture. Directors are there. So that is the sequence basically. So person basically will try to grow basically in financial way and monetary way and post way basically. One person is a salesperson. He will become the sales executive, senior, then basically becomes the manager. Like this basically keeps on processing the data basically. That is the human tendency. It's a human behavior basically. It's like that only. So we can't do anything basically of the human behavior. So the person basically who is earning 70,000 per month, 7,000 per month, 8,000 per month, he will try to earn 16,000, 20,000 per month. Then basically he will earn 30,000, 40,000, 50,000, 60,000, 70,000. Like this basically grow basically. The person basically who is earning 50,000, if he will get 20,000, 15,000, 20,000, 30,000, that basically is a degrade basically of that particular person. So that basically say that you have insulted by the software company. You have insulted by the one of the person told that you are basically Hindu, right? Basically, and your Hindus are only not helping you basically. That means your Hindu basically is a Hindus are basically creating problem to you basically. Your Hindus are only basically creating the problem. No other group basically can do that basically. They basically don't have any rights basically. So whatever good thing is happening, whatever bad thing is happening, that your caste is only basically doing. Nobody other have basically have the rights basically. That is the rule basically of the Earth planet. So that is also different point basically. So in this world basically one person told that the people who have the knowledge basically they never get the opportunity. For example, I am having the knowledge, I am not getting the job only. So that basically comes into the tendency basically. So that basically is a different point basically. So one person basically asked the question, Microsoft basically will reach to that. He basically currently basically he might have reached to that that land basically from where basically he's getting the ideas, or basically he might have thought this also basically or not, that he's getting idea from some land basically. That is also question basically, because you never gets the time basically. That is the main thing. So by chance basically Microsoft group basically watched this video by mistake basically, because sometimes basically mistake happens. So by mistake basically they watched this video and the previous videos basically which is related to the software company power supply. So they will try to reach to the power company, energy company, nuclear power company, and they might connect to that land also. They might connect it, and they might connect to that chemical company also basically, who are basically into this creation. Why they will do? because they also have to do this. That is a 10 crore project basically, which is designed by the software company, and they are going to generate that lava. That means they are going to generate the ideas, which is for the next to next, or basically whatever generation basically, for the ideas are created. That is the technologies, that is the utilities, that is the facilities in this basically. Computer is one facility basically, which is dumped long before basically by some group basically. And currently Mumbai has created 20 crore project. They are going to dump the ideas which is used by the certain level of groups. Just a minute. And this idea, just a minute. These ideas which has dumped basically, that is going to be used by human creation, not of today basically, but after a certain time, after 100 years, 200 years, but that is going to be used. Why? Because it has converted into land. And if it is converted into land, that means idea keeps on processing, the land data basically keeps on processing. That will create problem to the universe also and to the earth planet also. So they have to use that idea basically at one time. So you can just imagine basically the time basically which is ongoing, the time machine basically which is ongoing. So currently what is the time? 9 o'clock basically, 9:05 basically, or basically 9:04. So one person told that these ideas basically are what basically, that is a time machine basically. It's basically not time machine for the earth land basically, but it's a time machine for universe basically. That this idea is going to connect, this computer idea is going to connect in this generation. So the currently which generation is basically ongoing, that has connected with computer idea, which is created by German group basically. That is in front of the world basically. But whatever things are in front of the world, that basically we know that all are wrong. So in front of the world basically it's a German basically. So German group basically got the idea of computer creation. And then basically the software everything basically came into the picture. So that was idea which was dumped long before by set of group basically, which is in this land. And the power supply basically which was connected at that time basically in that particular person's brain, that time basically from this land basically the power supply was getting. So up to that level basically, that time basically it was very difficult to track basically that from where exactly the idea came of the computer creation, that is the computer creation. So that's very difficult basically. So one person told that we have that land data. This was that land basically. From that basically the power supply was coming basically. Now basically tell basically. So that is what actually. That is a time machine basically. That is at this particular time universe told that basically these all ideas basically are going to generate in the earth planet. That's all basically. That's a universal basically time. And they have created that. Why? Because they have to do some certain level of task basically in universe from the earth planet energy basically. So they have created basically set of your data basically on the base of certain ideas. So one person told that yeah, that's very dangerous thing, yeah, basically. Just now you discussed basically. So just a minute. So one person told that yeah, basically a dangerous thing basically Sunil you have discussed actually. So one person told that yes, basically you are correct. The stuff basically which we have discussed, that's very dangerous thing. The stuff basically you discussed, that is very dangerous thing. So one person told that that was very dangerous stuff basically. That is very dangerous stuff basically.
शुभ लाभदायी नमो नमः सदा सहाय नमो
One
नमः
person told that
देव फलदायी
one Hindu is sitting at the home and one
गणपति
Muslim and Christian basically are sitting at the home.
शुभ
Who
लाभदायी
will get
नमो
fast job basically?
सदा सहाय
The
नमो
person who is basically experienced person basically. He told that basically Muslim and Christian group will get the job fast. But Hindu group basically will never get the job first. Why? Because their people basically are going to create problem to him. Basically.
देव फलदायी नमो
Their people only basically will create problem. Basically. For example, he is doing basically Hanumanji fast. So the Ram temple and Hanuman temple group will create problem to him. But in Muslim it's not like that. In Christian also basically it's not like that. They will help the people. Basically. But in Hindu it's totally different basically. They will get the money and they will give the problem to that particular person. So that's why one of the person told that one day basically lots of people says that Hindu caste will get disappear basically slowly. Why? Because this type of people basically are existing in this world basically. If they will doing like this basically in Earth planet, then basically they will do their energy basically will create problem in universe also. That one of the universe person told about the Hindu caste. And this is fact basically. I am the example. Basically. I am the example. Basically. So just a minute. So one person told that this is a fact basically about the Hindus. This is really fact. If you want to find it, you can find it out. You do the experiment basically. Then you will really will you will tell basically. Yes, yeah, basically Sunil, you have told correct. You are correct basically. You are, this is fact about the Hindu caste. And that we have discussed in the previous videos also. But I thought that basically this is the time basically where I should display basically this point. Because if Hindu caste will end from Earth planet, that will hurt a lot basically, for lots of people basically. But that might happen basically. This might happen basically one day. So that is also one of the point basically which I discussed. So one of the person told that the Microsoft basically is getting the energy basically from that land. Decathlon, 60 plus sports, 6,000 plus products. So that was the point basically which we discussed. Basically. One of the person told that. So that was the point basically. So one of the person told that Microsoft basically is getting energy from where? That is the land basically, and that land basically is created. So one of the person told who basically have the authority to create the land basically. That is also a question basically. Microsoft is one idea basically, which is created by set of groups. So one of the person told that यार किसको मतलब permit who have the permission basically to create the ideas, and ideas are equal to land basically. Who have the basically authority? Who have the authority basically to create the ideas? So one person told that that might be correct also, yeah, basically. That Microsoft might not be knowing. He might be getting the information that basically these are the power company from where basically I am getting the power supply. He might have created few water lake also basically. From that lake also basically he might be getting the power supply data. But that water basically he generated from where basically? From his power company only basically. Sorry, from his software only basically. For emergency basically he might be using that water basically for the power supply. And that basically very rare basically he might be using. Or it might possible the Microsoft owner basically might be using that power supply. That is possible basically. It's a special power supply basically. So he might be getting idea totally differently. That is 100% basically he's getting idea differently basically. So he's getting idea basically from different area. He's getting basically his foods from different areas. So everything basically is getting from different basically. What basically is that? That is thinking basically. He's going to think basically. And whatever things basically he's going to think, his employees are going to think. So that is the main thing. So one of the person told that this is a fact about the entire technology group basically. And this is reality basically. And the updation keeps on happening basically of the lava land. So his ideas basically keeps on changing according to the time basically. So you can imagine basically up to the creation has done. And this is going to happen basically. You basically do anything basically. One day this will happen. So the 10 crore project basically which has created, which is going to dump into the lava data, that is into the land basically, that is going to use one day. That is going to be used one day. That is going to be accessed by one day basically by one person, one group basically. Whether the world exists or not exists. But that will happen basically one day. That is 100%. Here basically I can use 100%. Here basically I can use 100%. And that activation basically is going to be happen from satellite. Because Earth planet basically nobody exists in the Earth planet. Assume basically world ended and nobody exists. Then from where basically the power supply is going to connect? That is from satellite only basically. Because complete Earth planet has ended. Then basically what you will do? That is basically from the satellite. So here basically we are not discussing that the world will end that. That is basically different thing. So here basically we are discussing it. One of the person told that we are basically Microsoft Group basically told. We never thought that basically we are getting this data. We are basically we actually created from this land basically. So that's not strange basically. So one person told that you previously told that basically Microsoft equal to set of energy. That is the set of people's energy. So the people who created this Microsoft Sand basically, their source basically is what? Basically? because Microsoft is using this data. That is basically very dangerous thing. Microsoft is going to use this 1 crore data that his energy .NET basically created on the base of 1 crore energy. Then Word basically created on the base of 1 crore energy. Excel basically created on the base of 1 crore energy. Microsoft PowerPoint basically created on the base of 1 crore energy. So on the base of that basically creation has happened. So here just see the basically what is the chain basically. Basically one of the person told that we are actually confused with it. Because it's a confusing thing. Microsoft is taking that 1 crore data. Microsoft owner basically is getting data from that land basically, which is created by set of companies. Set of companies basically are creating some set of lava data. That is the sand data. That is the chemical. They are also basically might be getting this source basically from somewhere. So one person told that what is that source? So that might be which so that might be some energy only. Because whatever human is going to connect basically, that would be of human energy only. Otherwise it will create problem to human being. It might create problem. He will get ill, he will get some disease. That's why lots of things basically will happen. So the rule of energy says that the energy which you are going to connect, for example, this is created from one of the human energy. This specs is using glass, this everything basically using, that is also created from one of the human energy. This mobile, that is also, that is plastic basically, right? Plastic and little bit iron are there, copper basically are there. So that's basically created from what basically? Everything is created from human energy. And chemical energy is also basically one of the part of human energy only. So they also basically the lava group basically who's creating the lava data for the Microsoft. That is the Microsoft energy basically going to come from that land. Their source basically also might be some human only. That means Microsoft is getting idea from set of groups. So ideas chain basically connected. This idea, this idea, that idea, this idea. This is bigger idea. That idea is more bigger. That idea is more bigger, more bigger, more bigger, more bigger. Like this, the idea changes. So just a minute. So one person told that there is no value of Hindus basically in our planet. That basically is by default you have to accept it. That is reality basically. I went to Mumbai. I have not got the job. Why? Because I was Hindu basically. That punishment basically I got. So one of the person told that instead of staying in Hindu basically change some to other caste basically. He might have told correct basically. Because you have got the punishment that you are Hindu. And punishment giving group are also but you are only basically. But in Muslim, Christian basically it's not like that. If one Christian basically might have visited to Mumbai, he might have got job immediately. And that is fact. That is fact. And basically you have to accept the fact. So one of the person told that this is reality about Hindus. And this is correct basically. This is 100% basically. You can write it down basically in some Mahabharata or basically Bhagavad Gita also. That Hindus are like this of current generation. You should write basically actually. Mahabharata and Bhagavad Gita basically you have to rewrite basically. And in that basically you have to write down that current generation Hindu basically which is ongoing, that is not correct. Basically. That is not created correctly. That is not created correctly. So please reroute basically. That basically is must be in Bhagavad Gita, or basically if you want to add in Ramayana, or basically in Hanuman Chalisa, or basically in Gayatri Mantra, you have to write down basically that Hindus are not proper basically of this world. Basically. Hindus are basically not proper basically. Hindus are not proper basically of this world. Basically. That basically you have to accept it basically. You have to accept the fact basically that Hindus are not proper basically. The example is Sunil R. Nair basically visited Mumbai city and not got the job. He visited Bangalore city and also basically not got the job. And this is fact. Why? Because you are Hindu and your people only basically are giving problem to you. You are basically reading Hanuman Chalisa. So Hanuman group and Sri Ram group basically are getting problem to you. That group is basically creating problem to you. And this is fact. Because nobody other basically have the rights to touch you. And this is fact. And in India basically, or are all basically are controlled by Hindu group only. So if you will go against Hindu, then basically you are going to get into some trouble basically. That is also there basically. That is also fact basically. No other can. For example, you are basically doing going against Hindu. Your head will get damaged. Your hand will get damaged. Sometimes basically you will get lakwa disease. I don't know what disease basically you will get. But they never think basically why basically that person gone against Hindu. So there might be some reason basically, right? That group basically never think. They basically gets one mauka basically. इसका सिर फोड़ दो. They never think basically that why basically you are breaking his head. This is fact about Hindus basically. And basically you have to rewrite basically in Bhagavad Gita that current Hindu basically which generation is ongoing, they are not proper basically. The people who created the Hindu from satellite basically, they have not created properly. So that you have to write down basically somewhere in Bhagavad Gita, in Ramayana. Lots of basically people says that Bhagavad Gita also sometimes gets modified. So in that basically you have to write down this that Hindus are not proper basically of current generation. So just a minute. So one of the percentage this is fact about the world basically. So again back to Microsoft project. One of the person told that ये Microsoft जो है ये कहीं हिंदू तो नहीं था पहले. Then basically might have converted into Christian or basically some went basically from Hindu basically. That is possible basically. So his energy also will be like that only. So here the main thing is the Microsoft basically have to connect to those group basically who are actually creating his ideas. That is very must basically. You have to do that basically. And you have to fight with the government basically. Because it's not so easy to get that data basically, but you have to find it out. That exactly basically the group basically who is creating Microsoft basically what they want to achieve basically. What they want to achieve from you basically. That is must basically. What actually that group basically want to achieve from Microsoft, what they want to achieve, that is fact basically. what they want to achieve from Microsoft. That is the from which is dumped in that lava data, which is created by that particular group who is creating the lava data. So that's very dangerous and very perfect also. So one of the person told that assume that basically the Canada land will get disappear. So anything is going to happen basically. Microsoft will say that basically I have already created the lake basically. From where basically I am getting the energy. Then what about the employees? So one of the person told that the power companies there basically who are basically keeping the alternatives. But here you can't keep the alternatives also, yeah, basically. But that basically depends upon the lava department basically who are into the creation. Basically. So currently basically it is Canada basically. So it's a huge chain basically you can say. Canada is giving power supply to India. Canada is getting power supply from USA. US getting power supply from E3. It is getting power supply from UK. UK is getting power supply from UAE. UAE is getting power supply from Dubai. Dubai, Dubai, UAE basically both are same. So each and every group basically are setting. South Africa. South Africa is getting power supply from UAE. So this is like one chain basically of the power supply chain. This connects to what? Microsoft is getting ideas from set of group basically that are the set of energies. They are getting ideas from set of energy. For example, one person basically told that he is a CEO of company, so he might be visualizing his idea. He basically telling that basically this is the project like this. Basically, we have to do this. All are the infrastructure available with us. Like this, each and everything basically is going to display in front of his managers, his delivery head. So they are going to think according to his CEO and vice president, which is the ideas which has displayed in front of his managers. So manager are going to think according to that. Then basically the manager will circulate this idea to his employees. Like this, basically the idea change. This is the idea change. Same way, Microsoft is getting some. Microsoft is getting ideas from set of group. That's why basically it's very important to connect with that lava data group basically. So you can exactly know basically what you want to create. What is your target, what you are going to create, how many softwares basically you are going to create. So you can just imagine basically up to what level the creations are done. So in next video basically we are going to see a little bit more about interesting topic about this everything, and this everything connects to earthquake only basically, because this everything basically power supply basically of the land. UK is getting power supply from Italy. Italy is getting power supply from Europe. Europe is getting power supply from USA. US is getting power supply from South Africa. South Africa is getting power supply from Italy. Italy is getting power supply from Kenya. Kenya is getting power supply from India. India is getting power supply from Egypt. Egypt is getting power supply from Switzerland. Switzerland is getting power supply from Poland. Poland is getting power supply from Ukraine. Ukraine is getting power supply from Russia. Russia is getting power supply from Peru. Like this basically each and every things are connected with the land only. So in next video basically we are going to see a little bit more about this all topics.